Now that is something I've never seen before. Over 30 knots right now, towing a helicopter. Go, come on, yes! Hello everybody and welcome back to episode 19 of my Stormworks career mode Let's Play. Now today is an exciting day, guys. First of all, we have to go and rescue my helicopter. If you remember from the previous episode, it is currently stuck on the oil rig with about 0 battery in it, so we are going to have to push that off the oil rig by hand into the water and then tow it all the way back, and hopefully nothing will go too wrong there. But after that, guys, I'm going to fly to the Sawyer Isles in the new vehicle that I've been working on, so that's coming up shortly. And then last of all, when we're over there, there's a mission I want to do which I've never actually done before, so that's going to involve modifying the helicopter that we're about to rescue actually into a sort of brand new version. It's going to be a little bit different, and we'll go and do the mission to finish off the episode for today, guys, because next episode, if all goes to plan, we are going to go to the Arctic. There's a ton of great missions over there, and it's a very different place to down here, so it'll be quite interesting and it'd be nice to have a change of scene. So let's get straight into this and go and rescue our helicopter. Right, we have the boat out of the boat shed, and as you may remember, guys, from a while back, because we have used this I think in one other episode, it goes about 130 knots, but it's quite hard to get going because there's only one gear, and you have to go maximum revved. Well, I'll show you actually. Let's just get, well, we're going to whack up the throttle to maximum, right? Start it up, and then very quickly and carefully add on the clutch, and that's what's going to help us. And then at a certain speed, these rudders are going to flip up and give us a bit of downforce automatically if all goes well. So anyway, let's start this thing. I don't think I've got any extra buttons here. Do I have fuel pumps? Oh yeah, I do. Cooling pumps. That is vital, guys. Okay, cooling pumps are on. Starting up. Okay, easy. Now we only have to go 1.4 kilometers, and if we can go full speed, that'll be done very, very quickly. We can already see the rig over there. Look, that's all we're doing there. Right, go. Right, it's a little bit choppy, but it's not too bad. I haven't really tested this in anything but calm water. Oh no, 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 no. Okay, this is dangerous. Wow. Right, so we're gonna be careful here by going up to about 50 knots on the clutch, and then put the clutch the rest of the way. This, oh my goodness, guys, this is so leery, this boat. Okay, I'm actually a bit nervous at the moment. We are okay. We're on the foil, look, that's good. But I'm a bit nervous to go full power, so we're just gonna stay at 50 knots for now. Look at that. Oh man, I mean, it'll go almost 3 times this speed. But I think that would be too dangerous, and we might as well not end up rescuing this boat, you know. But there's the helicopter. We're going to leave the boat here because, you know, when I tip that helicopter into the water, I don't want this boat to drift over there and then get damaged by it or anything. So we'll turn off the cooling. Everything is now off. We do have a single mag here, which should be fine because, to be honest, the helicopter is quite small and light. And hopefully it's going to float. But anyway, guys, let's get it up there and then drop it off the edge. And here we go, on top of the rig, on the helipad, and there is the boat down there, so we are a safe distance away. And if we look down here, there's a bit of a ledge there, but I think it's going to be a clear drop to the ocean. I've never done this before, but hopefully it's not going to get stuck on these metal fencing things here, and everything will go very smoothly. But as you can see, if I get into the seat here, right? Not much fuel left, but in this helicopter that would last for a very long time actually, and it's only worth about $43, so we don't have to worry if we do lose it. It's not going to make any impact at all. But here, 0 battery, and we can't start it, and unfortunately, guys, and I thought I'd done this, but I have not added an electric charging port onto this thing. I couldn't see it anywhere. I thought I'd done it, but obviously I haven't. So anyway, that is clearly one of the main flaws of this helicopter, no electric charging port. And I recommend, guys, don't forget when you're building anything, especially if it's in career mode, don't forget to add one. They are so useful. But anyway, there's always a way around these problems in this game. There is always a solution, but sometimes it's more tricky than others. So let's go and whack it into the water. And I'm a bit nervous about this. Okay, we're stuck here. Hang on. Right, come on. Now, if we fail at this, guys, I could actually bring up the mag from the boat, connect it up here and then reverse or accelerate away from this rig and hopefully pull it in. But I'm hoping not to have to do that. So how are we going to get this in the water? What if we go sideways? We can move it this way. Okay, that's good. That's good. I'd rather not fall in with it if possible. Here we go. Oh, man. This is brilliant. Go. Come on. Yes! Oh, is it going to float upright? Not that it really matters. No. But it's not damaged. And yes. Perfect, guys. That's all we need to do. I'm not going to jump off here because actually it might damage us. And I don't have any diving gear on. So I'm going to climb down the proper way. And there's a staircase just here, isn't there? Very good, guys. That has gone very well so far. I can't believe I've got to rescue this, but never mind. Could be far worse, couldn't it? Now, I don't think it really matters where we attach the mag. All we have to be careful of is that we're not going so fast that we're going to break the connection, because these mags can lose connection if you put too much force on them. But actually, they're not too bad, and the helicopter is fairly light as well, so it shouldn't matter at all, really. There's nothing to worry about here. Right, so we're just dropping the winch down. It's a 20-metre winch. We're probably going to have to reverse the boat back towards the helicopter a bit. But that's probably enough length there. And the mag does work. As you can see, you can hear it connecting there. Now, if I just bring that a bit further in deck while we're reversing. Lovely. I missed this boat, guys. It was great fun. Great fun, this one. Right, I reckon that's good there. Stop the engine and get straight into the water. And here we go. Yes, it's connected right in the middle pretty much. So the only thing now is to tow it home. And although it's simple, we have to just make sure we don't put too much stress onto the mag. Okay, now what we're going to do is actually tow it to this base because the starter base is not big enough to fit that helicopter in. And so therefore we probably can't despawn it into the workbench as far as I'm aware. So that's what we're going to do, and actually it's a bit further. It's probably, well, let's find out how far it is. 3.5 kilometers, not too bad, is it, guys? But let's get going, and hopefully we won't have too much trouble. But all the movement is going to be clutch based for now. There we go. That's probably a bit too fast. I want to just take up the slack. There we go, we've got the slack already. Okay, that's a bit quick. But it's working, guys. That's actually better than I thought. Okay, 56% clutch. It's going a bit faster than I want to go. But if that holds, that is amazing, because it won't take very long to get... Oh my god, look how fast we're going. Wait a minute, we're on the foil. Oh my goodness. I didn't expect to be able to go this fast. That's working really well. I mean, the helicopter, of course, it's made to float and it's super light and small, which is one of the best things about it. But I'm surprised the mag is holding on at this speed, because surely there's a fair bit of resistance. We're going over 30 knots right now, towing a helicopter. Also, we're quite well balanced. And already, guys, we've done a whole kilometre already. That's a third of the journey. Also, you can see down there, look, the shadow on the ocean floor. I mean, we're not very deep. We've used about half a fuel tank altogether at the moment. So let's hope we actually get home. That is drinking fuel seriously fast, actually. That is not good, guys. 2 kilometres to go. Are we going to make it? What do you reckon, guys? Do you think we can do it? I might have to slow down, actually. Whoa! Okay, okay. Big wave. Okay, okay, let's just slow down a minute. We're still connected to the helicopter, but I want to make sure we get home without running out of fuel. That would be very annoying if we didn't make it. We're well over halfway at this point, guys. 1.4 kilometers to go. Still with the helicopter in tow. It has not broken its hold just yet. And how much fuel do we have? Okay. Okay, easy, easy. Whoa, guys, this is making me anxious. We're doing all kinds of silly manoeuvring at the moment. Okay. Temperatures are fine, even though we're sort of having fairly high RPS, as you can see, or hear rather. But we're nearly there, under 1 kilometre to go, 480 litres. I reckon we'll just about make it, guys. But it's still something to be concerned about. Okay, okay. Okay, that's so unsafe. Oh dear. I'm going to have to drop back on the throttle here. 550 metres and 354 litres. Come on. We're still maintaining kind of like 3 knots, I suppose. The temperatures, of course, are much better now as we're going slower. I reckon we'll get there, you know. Surely we're going to get there. Guys, but this base here is exactly what we need to spawn in my brand new vehicle. We will have to make sure the weather is, you know, perfect. It has to be flat calm, otherwise it might be a bit dangerous. But we are now in the right location to spawn in the next vehicle and fly off to the Sawyer Islands. And I am so excited to do that. But this has to be done first. Okay, now guys, we are making slow progress, but as you can see, we are going to get there. We've been using very little fuel at this speed, and because the RPS is so low, right? Actually, I can't even see the RPS at the moment, but we can hear it's low. And 200 meters to the waypoint, which is just sort of at the point where we turn into the dock. So we're doing very well. You know, guys, I'd like to do an episode at some point where we deliberately try and get some sharks to chase us. I would love to do that. As I say, I've got the sharks turned on. I do not have the Meg turned on currently, but we'll see. We'll see about all that stuff. You know, I'm always thinking about these things, and that would be a lot of fun, actually. In fact, there is a mission, right, where you have to capture sharks. So that would be amazing fun. I've never done it before, so I wouldn't have a clue how to start that. But yes, it does exist, and I would love to have a go. Anyway, let's turn in. I believe that might be an Arctic mission, actually. I can't remember at this point, but it might be an Arctic mission, and of course if we go there in the next episode we might get that quite soon. Okay, so we're just turning around to the right now, and just in here, guys, is the dock. We are so close now. Here we go on the map. You can see that this is actually where we're going, right here. Super close, nice and easy, plenty of fuel. It would have been much cheaper to go at this speed for the whole way. However, it wouldn't have been as fun, and it would be way, way slower. And thank goodness, guys, we don't have a massive thunderstorm right now, because as you know from other episodes, the waves can get pretty big. They actually get much bigger as you head towards the Arctic and over into the sort of the open ocean. But even here, they can get quite dangerous, especially for smaller boats. Now, as we've got very little fuel, guys, I mean, I will try and take it out, but if we don't manage to, because of the batteries or whatever, on the helicopter, I mean, you know, it doesn't matter. It'll literally be like $40. And we currently have 245,000, more than that. Right, so I'm just going to turn left here and try and bring it in as close as I can, and then hopefully the workshop will pick it up. If I stop this boat just here. Now, actually, a good idea, I think, would be to winch it in while I'm still connected. The reason is... Oh, it's still on. The reason is that, I mean, it might pull me back, but it also pull the helicopter forwards. Then we'll both end up definitely in the zone here, so we can despawn it. Okay, and I'm going to stop that right here. I'm just going to go and take the fuel out of both of those vehicles, guys, and then I'll be back with you in a moment when we're ready to hopefully despawn both of them. Now, that is something I've never seen before. Okay, so let's go and despawn the helicopter. Yep, we've done that. Nice one, nice one. Perfect. Now we can go and actually, and I must add a charging port onto that, but what we can do next is go into the workbench, and ideally this thing will just turn up in there. Yes, guys, job done. Okay, so fuel hose is in, guys. Both vehicles are back in the workbench. Everything is ready to go. Now next, guys, we're going to spawn in my brand new vehicle and then head off to the Sawyer Islands, okay? So now I'm going to go and sleep, guys, and make sure that everything is nice and calm. The sea has to be very flat for this vehicle. And then I'm going to go into the workbench, take you on a tour of this vehicle, and then we'll go and use it and get over to the Isles of Sawyer. Alright, guys? See you in a minute. Okay, here she is, guys. This is the first seaplane that I have ever made. And she really has been quite a challenge to make. But we got there in the end. And by no means is this necessarily completely finished. But it is working. It's ready to go. So we can now get to the Isles of Sawyer with this exact version. But yeah, bearing in mind, we might actually upgrade it before we go off to the Arctic in the next episode. But now what I want to do is take you around this vehicle, just show you some of the features. It's not hugely complicated, but it does have some interesting things. And then we'll get started. We'll spawn it in and go off on our journey. So to begin with, guys, we've got 4 floats on this plane. We have 2 at the front and 2 at the rear as well. If I just go and do a 360 round here. There we go. Now, these aren't very wide at the back, and at the front they're a bit wider. But as you'll see, guys, when we spawn it in, this plane tends to lean over to the side even when you don't touch it. It's not because it's imbalanced in weight, but it will either go one way or the other. And you can right it just by standing on one of the floats there. But it's not ideal, so that is something that, you know, I mean, I've tried working on the balance of this thing for a few hours, and it's really tough, you know, to keep a nice design and make it balanced at the same time is not easy. I mean, I've tried like wider floats, I've tried bigger floats, but either it's balanced but it doesn't take off very well. For example, like if I have 2 floats here, if I just copy and paste one of these to show you guys, just say I did this, right? Can I, hang on a minute. There we go. Just say I did that on both sides. Yes, it's a bit more buoyant. It is a bit more balanced as well. It'll still tip over. But the problem is, when you're trying to take off, right, having 2 floats here creates a bit more friction at the front of the plane. And therefore, the plane actually tries to dig down into the water and you end up just doing a nosedive and going underwater. So yes, you could counter that, but then you've got to add propellers underneath and all kinds of things. And I wanted to keep this plane really simple. So actually it takes off perfectly without any propellers in the water, which I was quite surprised about, really. I thought I'd have to have propellers here to accelerate it forwards and upwards to help it get out, but no, I don't need that. But as I was saying, it works better actually with just a single float on either side. Now here we have 4 fins as well, which are again going to help us to launch out of the water. So when we spawn in, guys, these fins here, all 4 of them, are actually going to be angled. Well, they're going to be at the maximum angle to generate as much uplift. I think that's the right word, is it, guys? Uplift? As much of that as possible to get out of the water. But automatically they are going to flatten to a neutral angle like it is now when they are, I think it's when they're 3 meters above the surface of the water, I think, something like that anyway. So that works really well, because when I tested this, of course, I just had them on maximum angle. Then when I got quite high up, I mean, the plane just continued to try and do a backflip over and over again because these fins were always working. But now I've set up this automatic system to do it for us. When they flatten out, it's lovely, really. It's really good. And guys, I'm not even using a gyro in this one, and it flies pretty well considering. I may put a gyro in it in the future. It's not necessarily necessary, but it might be a nice upgrade to do at some point. But I don't need it for now, and I think they do drain batteries a bit. So this plane is quite small and simple, and I want to keep it that way for now. Now, moving a bit further back, guys, down here we've got 2 very small fluid tanks here. They are empty. They've got air inside, and I just put them there, one for a bit of decoration, but really I was trying to balance the thing as well so it wouldn't tip over so easily. Just a little bit of extra buoyancy on the side. They can also be sort of, you know, you can imagine them as steps or sort of fenders to help you getting on and off and stuff like that. And they weigh a mass of 1 each, so they're not going to do any harm at all, even if they're not very useful. Okay, now moving on, we have the cockpit here. It's all open at the moment. I may have a canopy. I've got an idea for a canopy, but at the moment I'm just having it open here. And we are going to have a heater as well for the Arctic, of course, but we don't have that at the moment. It's very simple. We have 1 instrument panel, throttle, a key, artificial horizon, speed in knots over there, and altitude over there. So you'll see that all working when we spawn it in soon. And here are the wings. Now what we have here in the center of the wing is actually a small control surface, right? Which is the same as these ones here. But that is only for helping us to take off. So when we spawn in, a bit like these fins down here, they are wired into the same automatic system as this one here. So that's going to be at the maximum angle pointing downwards, just until we're about 3 meters high, and then it will return to the position that you can see here. And then on the wings themselves, I've got just 2 control surfaces. They're small ones there, one on either side. That seems to be all right for the moment. Now moving further back, we have this single propeller here, and that is on a reverse gear, of course, because we've sort of turned the propeller around to face the other direction. So now that is on 1 gearbox in a -1 ratio, 1 to -1. And it goes straight into here. Now here is where the engines are. We've got, well, I say engines, we've got one. We have one small diesel engine in here and twin exhausts if we go inside. We have a radiator and 1 large fuel tank just for now. When we go to the Arctic, we'll probably have to double our fuel capacity there. But that will take us to about, I think 60 kilometers, 59 kilometers I think I got. So not bad just for 1 tank. And we can always upgrade it. There's plenty of space here if we need to. We could even make a custom tank in here. But, you know, I'm not sure yet. We'll just see how that goes. But otherwise, very simple. I might actually add a generator in here at some point. We probably don't need one to get to the Sawyer Islands. But yes, again, it would be a bit of an upgrade to have a small generator or something in there as well. And here is the gearbox. So that is all I'm using. Just the 1 to -1 there. Engine is on 20 RPS, just the standard really at the moment. Then down here I've got a microcontroller and it's open all the way to the front. I think that's a linear speed sensor up there, and this is the block that converts it to knots from meters per second. Back outside now, here we have the fuel connector and an electric connector. Yes, I remembered on this vehicle, and on the other side it's exactly the same, so it's just easier to access from either side there. I do still need to add a pump actually, a fuel pump, not for in but for out, because I can fill it up quite easily, but I can't take the fuel back out again at all. So that is a problem, but yeah, I think just adding a pump will be fine for that, so that will be done soon. Now back here, we actually have a bit of a space for air here as well, just to keep it a bit more buoyant at the back. And that is also sort of connected to the main room here. There's a battery in the way, but I don't think that seals the gap, does it? Yeah, look, there's a bit of a gap here. So it's essentially all one compartment from here through to about here behind the seat. It's all sort of open in some way or another. But there's nothing actually too special in there. And we do have 1 medium battery, and then I think, is it 2 small ones? Yeah, 2 small batteries as well, okay? All connected to the same system. Now here we have some support bars which go from the main body of the plane back to the tail end, and they are connected to these floats here. They are quite narrow, but I just think it looks a bit better like this. And again, in terms of taking off, guys, adding more floats or adding like 3, adding 1 in the center, yes, it might improve buoyancy and balance, but for taking off, it just doesn't work very well at all. At least, you know, from what I've tried, and I've spent a few hours on that. So I think at the moment, that's like the best option for me right now. But to increase buoyancy, again, I've got these 3 fluid tanks here. They're small ones, of course, but they are all empty. So they're just adding a bit of buoyancy to the rear of the plane. And when we spawn it in, you'll see that actually, you know, it is under the water. Not entirely, but the front is raised up higher than the back, because of course most of the air inside this thing is in the front of it. But you know, basically it's in a good position to get in and get started. So yeah, that's the idea behind that. Now here we've got, of course, we've got a control surface for yaw. I've got some fins right on the top, and these are actually sort of pointing the opposite way to the fins at the front, but they're again wired into the same system as these fins and this control surface. So when we get 3 meters above ground, they are going to level out. But when we spawn in, these things will be angled upwards, maximum angle, just so it sort of pushes the tail into the water and allows the front to tip up a bit, okay? So that works really, really well, luckily like that. And I've made a gap here in the tail just so it's a bit lighter actually. Then of course we have these control surfaces for pitching as well. So guys, that is actually it, I think. I don't think I've missed anything here. I mean, there are some lights. We've got cockpit light there and some nav lights on either side. I don't have any strobing lights yet. I've probably not, like, you know, kitted this thing out with the proper lighting or anything like that at all. But I've just got a few on there for now. So things can always be added, guys. As I said, it's not, you know, 100% complete, but it is fully working, and it will get us to the Sawyer Isles. And on this fuel tank, it'll get us, you know, 59 kilometers. So it will be upgraded for when we go to the Arctic, but right now, this is all we need, guys. Let's get it in the water and take her to the Isles of Sawyer.